I think success should be measured by your happiness, not your pocketbook. You've got to figure out what makes you happy and how to turn that into a career. If you love the process and not the prize, you'll always win. And we have Kelly with us today. Kelly, how you doing? How's your morning going?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good. Well, thanks for joining me with it's a brand new podcast we're doing called Coffee with Jake G. We just want to help people find their purpose in life and then remove any roadblocks that may be in their way to achieving their goals. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Kelly.
Well, I am currently unemployed. I was a social worker for about a year. I am heading out to Virginia to do school psychology. Going for my master's in that. And I am right now working on packing up my house and trying to move.
Okay, very good. And how old are you?
I'm 26.
26, you said?
What's that?
You said 22? 26?
25.
25, I got you. Okay. And where do you live currently?
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Lincoln, all right. How are things in Lincoln right now with COVID and all that?
Restaurants open, but most things besides that seem still to be closed.
Okay. All right. And are you single, married, got a family? Do you have family around you there?
I don't have any family around me. I am currently dating, but that will be over on July 12th.
Okay. So let's just start. What's your question for me today? How can we help you?
So I just quit my job, and I'm going to be breaking up my boyfriend here soon and moving to Virginia, and I should be super excited about going to Virginia and going to grad school and fulfilling my dream, but I'm kind of just don't want to get out of bed for any reason.
Okay. So you're kind of frustrated with your situation. You're is it safe to say you feel a little overwhelmed?
Yeah, I do. I have to pack up my whole house and say goodbye to all my friends and kind of make a full new life in Virginia, and that's challenging.
Okay. So I want to highlight three things here that you said. That you just recently said that you just quit your job and you were doing social work, right? So what's your degree in?
My degree is in psychology.
Okay. So you're headed to grad school, and what is that going to involve?
Grad school will be a 2-year program. And my goal is to be able to do testing for kids with learning disabilities, such as autism or dyslexia.
School psychology setting. All right. And
yes.
How long have you known that you wanted to do that?
Well, I didn't know the name of it when I was younger, but I had dreams that would be categorized in this field since I was about 5 years old.
Oh wow! So that's great. So you have a really clear focus on what you want to do with your life. That's great. A lot of people don't have that to begin with. I really didn't have that until I was like 36. So that's incredible that even at the age of 5 and now at 25 you're still on the same track. That's a really good sign. But there's the first big red flag that just mentioned here is it's kind of different. I've never heard someone say, yes, I'm dating, but we're going to break up on July 12th. What's that about?
So my job, I was working as a child and family services specialist. Mm-hmm. So basically the people who remove kids from families.
Okay.
And that job is very stressful and very challenging. And my boyfriend sat me down back in December and said, this job is not for you, and I'm not going to be dating you if you're staying in a job that's going to make me miserable. That's not going to be good for a long-term relationship.
Sure.
And so he said that you need to apply for grad school, and that might mean that we won't be together because grad school won't be in Nebraska.
Okay.
And I would have to go out of state.
How did that make you feel when he sat you down and told you that?
Heartbreaking. I mean, he's the love of my life, and to be honest, I thought that conversation was going to go a very different direction.
What direction did you think it was going to go?
We had talks recently about having babies, and so I thought it was going to be like thinking about marriage and weddings and stuff like that.
So you went into this conversation with your boyfriend thinking, hey, we're going to be talking about a future, and he came in and actually said, hey, you're miserable in your job, and I know what you want to do with your life, so let's go do that. You go do that, and if you need to break up with me to do that, because you have to move away, right? That's what you're telling me?
Basically.
Okay. Well, so right away, first thing that I notice is that he must really love you and care about you to number one, to observe and to recognize that you were not happy in your career, and that career was reflecting back home and on your relationship. So I think that the first thing that I would do if I were you is don't take this as the end right away with your boyfriend. You obviously love him. He obviously loves and cares about you. He's concerned about you, probably even greater than himself, because he's willing to sacrifice the relationship for your happiness. And if that's really what's going on there, then that's a guy worth keeping. That's a person worth having in your life. So
definitely, he's the best boyfriend any girl could ask for.
So why let's address this issue first, because this is a major roadblock for you. This is obviously causing you some serious stress, as it would anyone. Why do you feel like you need to dissolve the relationship to go to grad school in Virginia?
Well, I've done long distance before. With the status of our relationship right now, the amount of communication that we have, the amount of need to be like physically close to each other to feel loved and accepted. His love language is physical touch, which is really hard to do with like 3 states in between you.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's going to work out well, and I think it's just going to put pressure on both of us and make the relationship end poorly in a couple of months over being a good relationship. And so we have considered that if we're both like still single afterwards, that we would consider each other again. But we are letting us be open to fully experiencing the place that we're at when we get there.
So let me ask.
I think another factor that probably should be noted is he is 46.
Okay.
And so like the time clock of him having kids is kind of ending. I mean, do I really want to have kids with someone that's 50-something years old?
Sure. Yeah, no, and that's a challenge that age gap is going to present, no matter whether you have this moving situation or not. So let me ask you this: will you be more happy in Virginia pursuing your dream grad school and your degree without him, or would you be more happy trying to make a relationship work while you're in grad school? I mean, is that what you're telling me?
Well, we won't be without each other. We're still going to be friends and talk on the phone and stuff like that. But I will be open to go on dates and have romantic relationships with other people.
Okay.
And he will have that opportunity as well.
And you're going to be okay with that? You feel okay about that?
I think that that's going to be the best plan and going to make each of us happiest in the long run.
Okay.
At least me. I don't know if it'll make him happy. He'll just be sad all the time. Sad.
Yeah, you may spend a month apart and realize that that was a huge mistake. For you to end that relationship, and hopefully you can resume that if that's true. So I just want to make sure that you're going to have less stress in your life being technically broken up with him than staying with him and trying to focus on your relationship and making that long distance relationship work as a priority at the same time going to grad school. So if you really feel like that's going to be less stressful on you and him, then that's probably a good thing. And is that kind of how you feel, how you think about it?
Yeah, I think it'll be easier to make relationships and to have fun during a little bit of time that I will be able to have fun if I'm not tied down to someone back here in Nebraska.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. That makes sense. So what do you feel like right now, besides this relationship that you're having to change the status of, or feel like you have to change the status of, what keeps you up at night? What do you feel like is really, really overwhelming you besides the relationship?
Well, what's keeping me up at night and what's overwhelming me are actually two different things.
Okay.
What's keeping me up at night is post-traumatic stress from my job.
Okay.
I'm really worried about some of my clients that I had to leave.
Okay.
What's really overwhelming me during the day is that I have 2 years of stuff piled up in my house that I have to go through and pack up, and tried to do that during the last week here, and also tried to say goodbye to all my friends, and just like saying goodbye to Lincoln, which is something that's like been a home for me for the past 6 years.
Yeah, sure. So some of that normal anxiety and that rush of trying to get things done and making sure that you say your goodbyes, and that makes sense. Let me ask you this: in the midst of all this chaos and rush that you have going before August comes, what are you doing for yourself? Let me ask you a different question. What are the 5 things that you do that you thoroughly enjoy so much that time just flies by when you're doing it? Give me 5 things that you enjoy so much when you're doing them, time just flies by.
Hanging out with John, just sitting on the couch watching some TV. Playing games on my phone. Back when Amor was open, sometimes going out, dancing. Time flies by. That was 3. Listening to audiobooks or lectures.
Okay.
And I can't think. Give me a second. I'll figure out this 5th one.
Sure. Well, even those 4. So number 1, the first thing that you mentioned was your current relationship. I kind of find that interesting. So how much time have you guys been spending together right now during this last month?
Past month?
Yeah.
Well, we spent maybe 2 to 5 hours every other day. So that's,
you're still seeing him quite a bit.
10 hours a week.
Okay.
40 hours a month.
Okay, so when you're with him now, these feelings of overwhelmness and anxiety, are you still thinking about stuff while you're with him? Are you still thinking about packing and saying goodbye to all your friends and all those feelings that have overwhelmed you? Do you still feel that when you're with John?
Sometimes, but we work through those feelings together.
Okay.
And we try to refocus on something more positive.
Okay. All right. Well, just looking at this list, 2 of them are things that isolate you by yourself, playing games on your phone, and I think those can be healthy escapes as you go through there. Audiobooks, again, that's a good relaxing thing to do. But I would challenge you on the dancing one, and the reason why is I'm a big fan of Ken Coleman, and Ken Coleman is a Dave Ramsey spinoff. And if you're familiar with Financial Peace University and Dave Ramsey, but Ken Coleman is a very career-orientated, motivated, go out and find your dream. Here's how to do it. Here's the people to put in your life kind of guy. And about 2 months ago, he highlighted a study that came out of the Northeast U.S., and I can't remember what college it was, but I'll go ahead and post that link when we find it on the podcast here. But it was a study on stress hormone, and we're just going to lump stress and anxiety into the same conversation today for this matter. But as there's some medical background here, but as your body is exposed to stress, it releases a hormone called cortisol, and cortisol is a precursor to a lot of different hormones in the body that kick in testosterone, kick in adrenaline, help your body deal with stress. The problem is, after cortisol is in your body for a time, it begins to have a negative side effect. And if your body doesn't clear cortisol quick enough and over time, the ramifications of stress, as you know, on your health are horrible. High blood pressure, heart disease, certain types of cancer, and so just from the physical side, if we look at this study and what it showed that people who participate in activities that are physically stimulating and mentally stimulating or occupying dramatically decrease the cortisol levels. So when you said dancing and audiobooks, I got a picture in my head of you listening to an audiobook, and instead of laying on your couch listening to this, you're cleaning house, or you're doing something in the kitchen, or maybe while you're packing, you're actually physically dancing a little bit. And I know you talked about the Playmore, and I'm very familiar with the Playmore, and I kind of look back and immediately I thought, hey, think of all the people that have been through the Playmore, and whether you learned to dance at the Playmore or you went to the Playmore because you knew how to dance, that was therapy for you. And I think that that's a huge missing element that you could put into your life on a daily basis that will help you cope and deal with the stress, because grad school is not going to be easy, as you know. You're super smart, you're talented, you know how to study, and you make it through college. Grad school is going to be time demanding, but for you to set 15, 20, 30 minutes a day and dedicate it to, whether it's, I know with COVID you can't go out dancing now, but you can dance in your house. You can get together with your friends on Zoom if you're a social bug like that. But that study was so clear, and I know from my life personally that when I was in practice, music was my therapy. I would come home and I would play and I would just do it for that. And then when music became my career, and I needed another outlet, so I took up golf, and that's, again, very physical activity, requires a ton of mental energy if you allow it, or you can just go out and hit the ball around for a day and kind of. So I really want to challenge you to explore that. But then again, I'd also like you to think about how important the Playmore was to you in your development, not only in your ability to chase your dream, but this I want to keep using the word therapy, but it's an element of an enjoyment for you. And think of all the people who have gone through the Playmore, from the attendees and the dancers like yourself, but the staff, and from the security to the food vendors and people who just thought that was a job. Look at what that one facility has done. Look at what it's done for you. Think about all the people that have gone through there, and now they have a healthy outlet, and they found something in their life that they enjoy and that actually could be good for their health. How many times a week do you think you dance after COVID when you're home alone?
When I'm home alone,
yeah,
maybe once every couple months.
Yeah,
it's really hard to get into the mood without having the whole crowd and the live band and all that.
Yeah, so you haven't been dancing, and that's one thing that you really, really enjoy. So I'm going to encourage you to look at different avenues. Maybe look and see if there's a Facebook group out there in your area, wherever you're living, whether it's Lincoln, Nebraska, or Virginia. Find out if there's some smaller clubs and places that are open that are doing dancing. And if not, see if someone wants to start a Zoom group where you guys can get together. If you really like that social part of it, maybe you're the one that starts the Zoom group for line dancers. That might be something that is a good outlet for you, and you can just schedule it every week, or even more as you go through there. But I would challenge you to dance at home. Get comfortable taking 15, 20 minutes and pulling up YouTube and learning a new line dance, or teaching a new line dance. Make up your own and then share it with your Facebook groups. Share it with a Zoom group if you can get one started, or if you found one. But if you look past, like, this is just one of the side effects, Kelly, of where we're at. COVID has changed our social structure, and then on top of that, you have this huge transition going on in your life. And I'm telling you, the relationship thing by itself is enough to consume anyone. And then you add on top the move, and then you're starting new school. It's crazy. No wonder you're feeling overwhelmed. And I would just really, really encourage you to look at some of these healthy outlets that you have, and at least once a day, 15, 20 minutes, really start putting those into motion. And I think the ones that are physical for you are going to be so much better and long-term healthier for you than the audio book, because I'm telling you, you're going to get tired of books and reading and listening to classes and seminars. And that's the last thing you're going to want to do is put on a pair of headphones and listen to that. So I think just looking at this, your roadblocks are huge. They really, really are, and they can be super discouraging. But you've got to look at your positives, and your positives are: you're a great person, you're super talented, you're really, really smart, and I'm just going to tell you now, you've been blessed. You've known since the age of 5 what your purpose in life is going to be, and that's so huge, Kelly. So I just want to encourage you to look at some healthy physical things that you can put in your life, and I think that will help get you through. Because once you get through grad school, it's good. School psychology is an occupation that you can get a job right away, because the education system.
There's a high demand that's only going up at this point.
It is, and it's you're right. It's super high demand, and it's going to be great. So the rewards for you are coming, and they're going to be great. And I'm glad that you know what you want to do. And I think some of these roadblocks, you're just going to have to break through them. And I really, really feel like you can do that just by taking a little bit of time for yourself and doing some things every day, a little bit of thing every day that you enjoy. I think it'll make a huge difference for you.
Well, thanks so much. I definitely will try to work more on getting out of bed and dancing or running or doing yoga or something active.
Definitely. Anything that you enjoy that involves a little bit of physical activity will be so huge for you as you go through there. Kelly, thanks for calling in with Coffee with Jake G, and stay in touch with us and let us know how school goes, okay?
Will do.
All right, thanks, Kelly.
Have a good day.
Bye. In today's world of technology and medical breakthroughs, we're going to live 4 lives in the span of 1. I don't care if you're 16 or 66. It's never too late to chase your dream.